So, about that Mario Kart Direct, eh? I remember when this was announced at the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, I was like, whoa, this game must be massive if they're giving it its own Direct. Like, a lot of what games have received their own Direct? Smash Brothers has received its own Direct, and Mario Wonder, they revealed a lot in there. Splatoon 3, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, oh my god. So it's like, this game is going to be on the tier of all those. It's going to be incredible. They're going to unveil so much at this event, and then, like, most of it was recapping stuff that we already knew. So, that's fun. We did get a look at, like, some of the carts, some more of the carts, some more of the racers, just in gameplay and stuff, and they gave more detailed looks at some of the tracks. Some of the highlights for me was they're finally bringing back Toad's Factory, the best track in Mario Kart Wii, and you can't tell me otherwise. And I was kind of disappointed when that didn't come back in the Booster Course Pass. And then we got to look at some of the new tracks as well, like the new Mario Circuit, some city tracks, some ice tracks, and then the one that was the big standout was Boo Cinema, which is probably the best idea for a Mario Kart track in a long time. Basically a haunted, like, cinema where you can go through the screens, and it's like all it has that, like, what's it called, that, like, old film aesthetic on it and stuff when you're going through different genres and stuff. It's a really cool idea for a track, and I don't know, I feel like this one could end up being the standout. But besides that, they unveiled some new items. Like, they finally unveiled what Kamek does, or kind of unveiled what Kamek does, because in the trailer, he just turned everybody on the track into Chargin' Chucks, and the narrator implied that, oh, there's going to be other effects too. I'm not sure if that means, like, other random effects, or if players are going to be just turned into random characters as well. I assume there's some sort of, like, slowdown, or there's some, like, attribute to it. Changing characters, like, that'll affect your stats and that, something, so I don't know. Maybe it could be a good effect or a bad effect. It's just a roll of the dice, which is kind of what you get with Kamek in general. The Ice Flower, which freezes opponents for a short time, one I'm very excited for. And another one that we saw in the trailer that I was very hyped for was the Hammer, which lets you throw hammers in an arc pattern, which also stay on the track for a limited period of time, so that you can hopefully hit other people and, like, block their way and stuff. I think that's really cool. It could have a lot of uses. And some returning items, such as the Mega Mushroom, which hasn't appeared since Mario Kart Wii, and it's kind of surprising that they ever cut that item. I don't know why. And then the Feather, which appeared in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe in its battle mode, but here it's going to be used as another way to traverse. One, you can use it to, like, jump over items and stuff, and jump over other obstacles. And two, you will also be able to use it as a sort of, like, as a way to jump, as another way to jump, which we'll get into that in a minute. And another thing that kind of perplexed me was the fact that when they were going over the accessibility features, there is an auto-use item option. So now you don't have to steer, you don't have to press the gas, and now you don't have to use items. You can just fully let the game play itself if you want to, which is insane to me. Next, they showed off the costumes, which are, like, sort of unlockables from eating food from specific stations across the open world. And if you eat a different type of food, you get a different type of costume, which is a cool idea. But the menus for this thing is awful. First of all, the character selection only shows, like, 12 characters or something at a time, which is, like, with this many characters, it'd be weird if they put them all on screen. So it's like, okay, that makes sense. I'll allow that. But now, instead of what you would expect, the costumes being a selection where you select a character and then you get to pick their costume, the costume characters are separate in the menu. So you'd have to scroll through, like, 500 if you want to get to the little costumes on the last page. It's clutter. I feel like it's just going to de-incentivize people to use the costumes, because it's not worth the work to go all the way to sift through all the 50 characters in this costume, and then the next, and the next, and the next. I don't know how many costumes there's going to be per character, but it's just such clutter. It's such clutter. the menus don't look great in this game in general. A lot of the other parts of the game look great, but not this. Next, they showed off the rewind feature, where you can rewind. That's it, you can rewind. If you mess up a jump or something, or if you don't get an item box or whatever, you can rewind your cart. It can go, like, back to where it was going. Like, it's a literal rewind. It's not like backing up. Your cart literally goes to where it was previously. And it's not an option that's, like, exclusive to the free roam, or maybe you can use it to practice for time trials or something. I thought, oh, that's a cool idea. Like, I can keep retrying this part I mess up on if I'm doing a time trial. No, you can use this all the time. You can use this online and in local play. You're the only one that rewinds, though. It's not like a save state, so other players will be able to zoom past you while you're doing this, but I don't know. I don't see any good applications of this. Like, I feel like it would almost always be faster to just trot along. There may be some cases where, oh, you made this, like, slight misturn and you're going to be going through off-road for a while. Maybe I could see that. So you rewind a little and you get back onto the path you were going. But honestly, I don't see a lot of situations like that. Like, the stuff they showed off in the trailer was just, it just didn't look like a lot of things that would get used. But one of the other interesting mechanics, and like one of the last new things they showed off, was the charge jump, which, I mean, this game is like more Mario than ever before. You're jumping around, you're riding on walls and stuff, you're grinding on rails. So of course they had to add a way for you to get airborne on top of the feather, so you can do this whenever you don't have the feather. Now, when you're on a straightaway, you can hold down the trick button and just jump. You can charge up a jump that you can do, and you can use that to get onto walls and stuff. You can ride on walls for a limited amount of time from that. You can jump onto rails with that, and I think it's just a really good idea. It just adds to the verticality and the bouncing and jumping around of this game. It makes it feel, or seem to feel, I shouldn't say because I haven't played it, it seems to feel more like Mario Kart. And it kind of reminds me of the wheelie in Mario Kart Wii, except due to the fact that, oh, you need to be like on a straightaway to do this. But I feel like this will be a way more important piece of tech, especially more than the rewind. I do not see any good, or rarely any good applications of the rewind. And that's it. They did show off, like, the battle mode and stuff, and they did show off in the free roam mode, there's going to be, like, little missions you can complete, but it's not, like, DS mission mode style. It's literally just, like, do this race to this part in this amount of time, or collect all the blue coins in this amount of time, and then there's, like, 3 or whatever. It doesn't look all that interesting. Hopefully there'll be some sort of reward for doing that, but they didn't really detail it there. There's a lot they left out there, and I feel like they set it up by giving it its own direct and then just didn't deliver on what fans wanted to see. They wanted to see, like, future support for this game. They wanted to see expansions. They wanted to see, oh, there's these new islands you can unlock and stuff. And they did reveal, oh, you can unlock Rainbow Road when you're done all the tracks. But, like, of course there was going to be a Rainbow Road in this game. That's not surprising. That's not new. Rainbow Road is a mainstay. In fact, the last game had, like, 5 Rainbow Roads. So what special is this? I'm hoping it's, like, a whole new cup that takes place in space or something instead of just Rainbow Road, which would make sense because the special cup has been omitted from the trailer. So maybe it's that, but I don't know. Or maybe it could be like a bunch of like retro Rainbow Roads that lead into the brand new Rainbow Road, and that's how they do it for this, because I've always wanted a Rainbow Cup in a Mario Kart, and you can kind of make that in versus mode in Mario Kart 8 at this point, but still, a dedicated Rainbow Cup would be nice, and I think the Crown Cup could definitely be that. Because I feel like Bowser's Castle is something that would already be in the overworld, because that's sort of the other mainstay. Mario Kart usually always, or pretty much always, ends with a Bowser Castle followed by a Rainbow Road. I assume that this Direct would more so justify the price point, but it doesn't seem to have done that. It went over a lot of stuff that we already knew, and also a lot of stuff that, that's gonna be in the new Mario Kart. So, I don't know. I'm still excited for this game. I still think the gameplay is shaking it up enough. It looks really fun. Probably one of the better kart racers in terms of its mechanics, because you're literally jumping all around like Mario. This game is going to be the first Mario kart as opposed to Mario in a kart racing game, which, not to say that those games were bad, but it was more in the aesthetics and the items than anything. Now the control is going to be like Mario, which is really exciting. Here's to hoping it's not trash.